Team USA may have bested Team World at the Nike Hoop Summit, but I would argue one of the big winners of Saturday night was the Fighting Illini.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of Locked On Illini. Today's abbreviated episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. My name is Sonny Verma, your host here at Locked On Illini, where I provide you with daily content. That's right, daily, even on the weekends, each and every day. So if you're a fan of the Illini, make sure you've hit the like button on this video, which is a fantastic one, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a thing. Saturday night was a showcase for the future of basketball, not just at the college basketball level, but even at the professional ranks. You saw a lot of the brightest young talent in the entire world, both U.S. and world, go at it in what was a very entertaining game where Team USA won 124-114 in overtime. It was very much a back and forth game. Breaking news, AJ Debonsa is a very good basketball player. He led Team USA with 24 of those points, but this is Locked On Illini. So let's talk about the interests of Illini fans. Two potential Illini played in this game. Both were Team World. We'll start with Dave Mirkovic. Mirkovic was arguably Team World's best player in that first half. He scored 8 points, I believe, all in that first quarter. And quite honestly, I thought he looked very impressive. A lot better than the tape that we had seen of him when the rumors were starting to prop up about him possibly joining the Illini. And I talked about this in the rapid reaction when David did commit, that because he's an international player, it's hard to really gauge what his tape looks like because there's not as much tape available as some of the guys who are playing domestically. Murkovich is putting up pretty solid numbers across the three leagues. I think his averages are about 12, 7.5 rebounds, and 2 assists. But what I like to focus on is Dave's number when he's playing against players about his own age. In 3 games for the Under-19 ABA League Championship, Dave averaged 23.3 points per game, 14 rebounds per game, 4.7 assists, and 3.3 blocks, all while shooting 46.8% from the field and 43% from three-point land. And that's kind of what we got a glimpse of on Saturday night. You know, in a showcase of the best young players in the world, David Mirkovic looked like he belonged. And that's got to put a lot of Illini fans at ease. Let's be honest, David's recruitment just came seemingly out of nowhere. And there's a little concern, at least from the commenters of this show, that Brad might be focusing a little bit too much on the European prospects and not focusing here in the States. And so, you know, when we got David's recruitment and you looked at his tape, which to me looks solid, nothing great, but looks solid, there was a cause of concern of whether Brad was maybe just being a little bit too lazy and we were falling in love with tape and that it wouldn't translate. But if there's any sort of indication on Saturday night, it really does look like David is the real deal. And quite honestly, a player that I'm looking forward to watching next year. He could very well be the starting power forward on next year's roster. And if that's going to be the case, at least from what I saw Saturday night, I think he could be one of the better power forwards in the Big Ten Conference. Now, while David Mirkovic is already an Illini commit, his teammate on Team World, Dame Sar, is merely right now an Illini target. Now, Dame's stock has been rising over the past month and a half, 2 months now, especially if you, my everydayers in here know I've been talking about this. Not only are blue bloods sniffing, but the prospect of Dame just bypassing college altogether and going straight to the NBA, unfortunately, that option is looming as well. What doesn't help Illini fans is all of a sudden Dame showed up as 6'8" at this Nike Hoop Summit. I was always under the impression that he was 6'6". If he's at 6'8", trust me, that's going to have those NBA teams salivating even more. Dame had 17 points in 25 minutes for Team World. And quite honestly, he looked every bit his scouting report. Extremely long, lengthy, athletic. And quite honestly, his shot was better than I actually suspected. He was 1 for 2 from three-point range, and he did make all 6 of his free throws. Now, if Sarr does decide to play at the college level next year, I still do feel pretty confident that Illinois is going to be his choice. Now, do I feel as confident as I was maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago? No. But if Sarr continues performing the way he has been lately, the idea of the NBA does become strong. Now, from what I saw last night, and I'm trying to be very blunt and honest here, is I saw a very talented future NBA player who could probably use at least 1 year of college basketball season. And of course, Brad Underwood and the coaching staff, they're going to be telling him the same thing. I'm recording this on Sunday, and supposedly there's going to be a meeting between Sarr, his reps, and Brad Underwood and the coaching staff sometime Sunday. And who knows? Let's get Kasparas Jakushonis involved in those meetings. Kasparas was in Portland, and in that first half, this is what I kind of want to talk about. The University of Illinois kind of became a focal point for a few minutes of the broadcast team. Not only were they showing Kasparas sitting in the stands with his agent. Now, keep in mind, his agent works for the same agency that's representing Dame Sar. And Dame Sar and Kasparas both played together at Barcelona the year prior. But when they were showing Kasparas, they also showed a graphic that displayed all the international presence of Illinois from the last couple of years. They showed Tomislav, they showed Will Riley, and they showed David Murkovich's commitment. And that brought a smile to my face because my everydayers in here know that I've been pounding the table for over a year now. Essentially, once we got Kasparas' commitment and Will Riley's commitment and Tomislav's commitment, that Brad Underwood is kind of forward-thinking in trying to establish a presence when it comes to the international community. The University of Illinois is becoming a trusted brand where a lot of the top talent in Europe will look at Illinois because of the relationships we've continued to build. And again, they're watching that Nike Hoop Summit game as well. They saw the same graphic that we saw. I understand that some of you may want Brad to focus more on the American prospects, but I do think that ultimately in the long run, that in order to raise the ceiling of this program, Brad is doing the right thing. I mean, put it this way, Illinois has never had a one and done college basketball player. This year, Illinois might have two, and both of them Brad got internationally. Will Riley from Canada and Kasparas from Europe. I don't think Brad Underwood and the coaching staff can solely rely on the international community, and I've talked about that on the show as well. But I do think that continuing to establish your brand name out there in Europe, and not just that, but then also having these broadcasts talk about Illinois' strong presence internationally. When you combine that with the good games of David Murkovich and Dame Sar, again, I think that Illinois was one of the clear big winners of Saturday night. I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you thought of Murkovich. I wish he'd played more. He only played 15 minutes. And let me know your thoughts on Dame Sar. It might have been the first time a lot of you got to watch Dame and his game. Were you impressed? Were you not so impressed? Do you think he's ready for the NBA? Do you think, maybe more importantly, that he could be a star for Illinois next year? Or do you think Illinois still needs more? I'm very curious on your thoughts. I'm recording this episode on Sunday. I'm still waiting for some potential commitments on the football side. It was a very big football recruiting weekend. So should there be any, make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know exactly when I come on live for my own rapid reaction. But that'll wrap it up for this quick abbreviated episode. Until next time, ILL. Love you guys.